Well, good day, everyone. I hope you enjoy this video. This is going to be a video showing how we use the cube feeder to feed the cows in the winter season. This cube feeder that Michelle's using today is one we just got last year, and it has the electric drive on it, so she doesn't need to get out of the cab of the tractor in order to turn it on or shut it off. And that makes it both faster and safer. Whenever you're getting out of the tractor and turning the feeder on or off, there's always the possibility the cows are going to be crowding in there and something bad can happen. So if you can turn it on and off without leaving the tractor cab, that's always a good thing. So there you can see our little bit of our hay inventory for this winter season, and we wish there was more there. But at this point, it is what it is, so we may end up buying a little hay before this season's over, but certainly there's hay available, so we're going to be all right, I think. Looking to the north there, you can see those big new electric towers that have been installed this past fall, and there's a huge line running there. I guess it's running down to Carlos. But I'm not sure, so I don't really know the origins of either end of this electrical line, but it's just a transmission line running from one point to another. Alright, so I've got the video, or got the drone kind of stuck up in the air there while I'm going to find something to drive. And in a moment here, we'll get with it. Alright, so we're going to do two things today, actually. We're going to put the cubes out, feed the cows some cubes. We're not yet putting hay out everywhere. We still have standing grass out in most of the pastures. There's cattle in the middle pasture off to the left there, where I'm at driving the Polaris, are the cattle that are kind of with the shortest grass. But the cattle we're going to see in this video, they've still got standing grass, and we're not haying them yet. So we're just feeding them some protein. The quality of the grass is diminished, and they're getting ready to calve here over the coming couple of weeks. And so we want to make sure they're getting all that they need in order to have a healthy calf. And so that's me down there in the Polaris, and I'm going to handle the gates for Michelle when she's driving around there. We're going to drop some cubes here in this big pen off to my left, and off to the left side of the screen there, and we're going to work some calves this afternoon. So we'll go ahead and drop some cubes in there, and that allows us to then get the cattle to follow the cube feeder into the big corral, and then we can capture the cows and do whatever we need to do. There comes Michelle, so she's got she's got her tractor and she's got her cube feeder there, and she's all ready to go. You can see it's still pretty green out, so the grass is still growing some, although not very much. And the weather's been particularly dry, so conditions aren't great for much production at this point of the year. And so we'll be haying for sure within not too long. So probably around 1st of December, we're going to have to be haying in all these pastures. So as Michelle comes down here, she's going to hook a left and go into this big corral. She'll drop some cubes in there. And as I said, later on, we'll then pull some cattle in there, and the cubes will keep them there while we gather them up and capture them there. And then we'll push them on up into the corrals. And we're going to do some sorting, and we're going to work some of these calves. And the way we got our system set up here to bring cattle in works really well from all three of the pastures you can see. So up to on the upper left screen is the middle pasture. We can bring cows into the bottom of this corral from that pasture. We can bring them in from the kind of the gates you may or may not be able to see, but just up the fence there from the water tank in that pasture in the middle right there, we can bring the cattle in through there. So right now she's just dropping the cubes, and so this makes it easier when we actually do bring the cattle in there. The cubes are already there. We'll bring the cube feeder in once we get the cattle to following the cube feeder, and we'll just lead them right on into the corrals there. But we'll already have the cubes down so that we don't have the hassle of trying to do that with the pens all crowded up with cows. And so we've done this enough times, we kind of know how it works and what works well and what we can get away with here. I don't have enough video time in order to show how we actually capture the cows on this day, but it went well, and we ended up working, I think it was around 19 calves or something like that. It wasn't very many, but it's what we got in, and that's 19 we don't have to do on a later date, which is something we are grateful for. You can see if you're looking closely, you can see the dumper on the trailer going there. The thing I like about the electric drive is you can put the dumps close together if you need to, if you're in a small space, because electric drive is completely independent of your ground speed. And the other feeder we have, it runs off the wheel of the feeder, and so you've got a defined relationship between ground speed or ground distance and where the piles are going to go. So, all right, so we're all set here. Got all the cubes dumped in there that we need to, and now we're going to go on and get some feed put out there. All right, so we're going to head out into this west pasture first to put out some cubes. Of course, the cows are all gathered up here. I don't know if you can make it out in this video or not, but one of the things that we've done to make this a little bit easier to make sure we don't get cattle out when they crowd up around here when we're trying to enter the pen is we build these vestibules, what Michelle calls a vestibule anyway. So basically it's a double gate, so she's able to go through the first gate, which she's at right now, and then she can go through that and close the gate behind her and then open up a second gate that actually lets her into the pasture. And this is the way she does it when she's feeding alone when I'm not here. When I'm here, of course, we don't need the second gate, but we configure each year these pastures to have that vestibule where we have a lot of pressure. And this is one of the spots where we routinely have a lot of pressure, so we do have this, we built the vestibule. I'm just opening the second gate here right now for Michelle, and she's going to go on through there. And obviously that'll lead all the cows away from this area. So I think we've got about 75 cows out. Maybe not quite that many. I'd have to look at my counts. Maybe 70 cows out in this pasture right now. These are cows that we bought out to San Saba back in 2013. And they're probably the poorest cows that we have, although there are certainly some individuals in there that we like a lot. But in terms of culling, that's probably the place we're going to look to do some culling. There you're looking out at the middle pasture cows. They're gathered up here waiting for their turn. And then close to where I'm driving there, you can see the east pasture cows. They're also waiting their turn. So the middle pasture and this west pasture where Michelle's out feeding right now have just about the same number of cattle in them. And so the reason that I'm back up here right now is I'm trying to get this drone to follow me. So this isn't too long. It isn't too long after I bought the drone, and there's certain settings in there that I need to get changed so that I can get this thing to follow me when I want it to. There's actually a setting called Follow Me, and so it is supposed to just go wherever you go with the controller. It never did work quite right, and this is one of the days where I can demonstrate that it doesn't work quite right. So notice now it's going to start following until it doesn't right there. So it just stopped, and it's quite irritating. I don't know why it doesn't work, but that setting just simply doesn't seem to do what it's supposed to do. So I'll have to come back and get it, or leave it there or something. But it took me a while to figure these settings out, but that's one I never did figure out. I don't know whether it just doesn't work like it's designed to work, or whether there's things that switches I need to address, or knobs I need to turn or something. But for whatever reason, the follow me feature just doesn't work. So now I figured out it's not following me, and I've turned around there, and I'm coming back to see what I can do about it. And maybe I can turn that feature off and get it to follow me. The other thing that I struggled with when I first got this drone was it would only go so many yards or feet from where you launched it before it would turn around and go back to that launching spot. So even when I shut the follow me feature off, there are other settings that are still problematic. And so trying to get the thing to do what I wanted to do it was difficult at first. But this narration I'm adding in January of 2018, and by now I've figured out some of the things. There's some stuff that I still need to figure out, but I've got it working pretty good right now. It'll do what I need it to do for the most part. All right, so I'm just driving the thing manually now, so I think I am. Nope, she stopped again on me. So this. I remember this was kind of a frustrating day. You can see the cattle in the east pasture are kind of following down the lane, and so that's one of the ways that they never pressure the gate up here on top, because when we feed the cattle in the across the driveway there, they're drawn down, and they kind of stay down there and don't come back up and pressure the gate when the tractor comes back up. So the order in which we feed the pasture seems to make a lot of difference in terms of getting the behaviors that we want and what we need. So Michelle's out there. Let's see what's going to happen here. I don't know if I can get that drone out there eventually or not. But there's a lot of settings that the drone has that are as a consequence of the well-publicized stories of people flying these things around stadiums and people flying them around airports and so forth. So the FAA has taken more interest and added more regulations. So the drone, this drone that I have here, will only go 400 feet in the air. And obviously it's capable of going much, much higher than that, but this just simply has a limiter on it, so it gets to 400 feet and that's going to stop. 400 feet is high enough for what I do with it anyway. And so, taking it up to 1,000 feet or something is really kind of pointless for me. But some of the other features in there, like the return home feature and so forth, are really valuable as you're learning how to use this thing, because it essentially assures that you're going to have a safe landing even if you lose contact with the drone. So we can look out there. Michelle's got them strung out now, and she's dropping cubes out there. So I get this follow me feature turned off here, and now I'm going to just manually drive this thing down there where Michelle's at feeding the cows. Passing over the Senderas up here in this west pasture. Boy, these Senderas make outstanding winter protection, especially from a north wind or a west wind. But it's just really, really good winter protection. So you can see Michelle's already got them strung out there, and she's dropping cubes, and they're eating them up. And she's probably going to be all done by the time I catch up with her, but that's all right. Big semi passing by down there on the highway. All right, we're going to get to see a few dumps here. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. So we're feeding 4 pounds of cubes for every cow out here. And even though there's a counter in the tractor, all you really need to do is listen to that tailgate bang, and you count the tailgate bangs, and you pretty much can keep track of how much you've dumped that way. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. There's not much happening from this point forward. Just kind of turn around and head her back up, and then we're going to bring those cows in and do some sorting and work some calves. Hope you have a good day.